Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and this is some of the biggest news I could think of. Was there any bigger news in 2020 in terms of real-world adoption of cryptocurrencies, just in this entire asset class? My gosh, this is all that is in my Twitter feed today, and rightfully so. Banks can now custody for customers XRP and cryptocurrencies in general. It's done. The United States government has said yes. So I'll tell you what, when Thanksgiving rolls around and you're about 3 plates deep into some stuffing and turkey and mashed potatoes, and you got your crazy uncle that says this cryptocurrency thing ain't gonna be around much longer, you can say, hey, crazy uncle, put down that spoon of cranberries. I got something to tell you. XRP and crypto can now be custodied by banks. The U.S. government done said so. I'm telling you, this is a really big thing in all seriousness, though. And so here's the headline. This is the government entity, Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. That their headline from today, July 22nd, 2020. Federally chartered banks and thrifts may provide custody services for crypto assets. Boom. Absolutely. My gosh, so much to say on this, lots to cover. I've got tweets from all sorts of individuals in the XRP community, including Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. It's all on deck, but before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button. I would definitely appreciate if you just pause, just take a little wee baby boo moment. Because if you do, it'll tell YouTube that you don't completely hate this channel, and it will, the algorithm will then push it onto other people's unsuspecting victims. And also, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. Don't cost nothing, man. I want to give a shout out to Frecky. So, I have to tell you, I don't know how many people tag me, and I really appreciate, I want to be clear, like, to everybody listening that did this. To everybody that tagged me in any story on this topic, I genuinely appreciate it. There were just so many, I cannot call everybody out. But the first person I came across, I wanted to give a shout out to the first person I came across in my notifications on Twitter today, when I was mapping up videos earlier today, that linked to this story was Frecky. So I always want to give it to whoever the first person is, at least at a minimum. But I do recognize there are all sorts of others, and please know it's appreciated. It's just like too much to go through right now. But very much appreciate you, Frecky, and everybody else for tagging me in this story here. So let's start with this. Before we even get to the specifics of what that piece said, can I just share this with you from Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO? And look, you know that this is a big deal when Ripple CEO starts out by writing boom with all capital letters. Boom! Exclamation point. And that's what he wrote. Boom. Today's ruling is a huge step forward. The U.S. OCC is absolutely leading the way to foster innovation, protect consumers, and provide a level playing field for all. The future has never been fiat versus crypto. These can and should coexist in harmony. Exactly. And so that's why it's always been silly to be the Bitcoin anarchists, the maxis, down with banks, down with government. Well, no. It's going to be a changed environment the more time passes, but there's always going to be a place for banks, and there's never going to be a world where people will always want to custody their own cryptocurrency. Now, some will want to. They will want to have their private keys only in their head, and maybe some crazy people probably don't even write them down and put them anywhere. Right? And that's fine. If you want to be one of those people, you can do that. That's one of the cool things about this. But there are going to be people that aren't comfortable with that, and they want the assurance that what they've got is safe within within a bank. Frankly, that's perfectly okay. Different people want different things. That's perfectly fine. And then you had Frecky here responded to Brad Garlinghouse, XRP community member, and wrote, "Brad taking over my boom, and it's very welcomed." Then you have my fellow XRP YouTuber, the digital asset investor, and I have to censor a tweet from the digital asset investor. He doesn't curse. It's, hey, Brad Garlinghouse, I don't normally cuss on social media, but when I do, it's to tell you that you and Ripple have put up with a lot of S-word for the past few years and kept your nose to the grindstone despite all the naysayers. Thank you. This one's for you. And then you got a little clip of Leonardo DiCaprio right there raising the glass. And then you got here David Reed, Galvatron, in regards to boom, I now see you as a real influencer within the crypto space. Brad Garlinghouse watching you, LOL. Galvatron writes, I hope not. I should get dressed, which I thought was funny, so I shared it with you. So here's the piece from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, and I can't stress to you how big of a deal this is. And this is a non-hype channel. I don't normally say stuff like that, so those of you that listen to me, I think you know to take me to heart when I say something like this. I very much genuinely believe this. This is a major step in terms of the adoption and solidification of the crypto asset class in perpetuity. For as long as the Webernets exist, the crypto asset class will be here to stay. And so the piece begins as follows. Washington, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, OCC for short, today published a letter clarifying national banks and Federal Savings Association's authority to provide cryptocurrency custody services for customers. National and state banks and thrifts have long provided safekeeping and custody services, including both physical objects and electronic assets. The OCC has specifically recognized the importance of digital assets and the authority for banks to provide safekeeping for such assets since 1998. In the letter published today, the OCC concludes that providing cryptocurrency custody services, including holding unique cryptographic keys associated with the cryptocurrency, is a modern form of traditional bank activities related to custody services. Bam! There you go. You're talking about the federal government saying, yeah, this is just part of modern finance. Cryptocurrencies, guys. I'm telling you. That's why, to all the people that entered crypto in late 2017, bought in on the way up, and then panic sold as the thing started crumbling down, and then they just thought it was over. No, that's it. It's never come back. And so many of you listening, I know you've encountered that person in your life in that time period, like, a quarter of the way through, like 2018, you got your friend, oh yeah, that XRP, Bitcoin, all that. No, that's all gone. Show them this, because the federal government doesn't think so. They're regulating it. This is crazy. And then it goes on, crypto custody services may extend beyond passively holding keys. And here's a quote, from safe deposit boxes to virtual vaults, we must ensure banks can meet the financial services needs of their customers today, said Acting Comptroller of the Currency Brian P. Brooks. This opinion clarifies that banks can continue satisfying their customers' needs for safeguarding their most valuable assets, which today for tens of millions of Americans includes cryptocurrencies. And so it'll be interesting to see to what degree banks start jumping on board, because I don't know if there's maybe a lot of these people undoubtedly know each other, and so perhaps some of these people maybe knew that this was coming down the pike and could have started preparing, but it makes me wonder how many big name banks just really household names will be jumping on in the coming, if not months, then year, 2, 3, whatever it is, and begin offering custody for cryptocurrency. I think a lot of people would be very interested in, because look, you're talking about making it easier to adopt cryptocurrencies. I think a lot of people would be very interested in that, frankly. The OCC also recognizes that as the financial markets are increasingly digitized, the need will increase for banks and other service providers to leverage new technology and innovative ways to serve their customers' needs. And by doing so, banks can continue to fulfill the financial intermediation function they have historically played in providing payment, lending, and deposit services. This is the cool stuff on the planet here. Here's a tweet from Galgatron earlier today, and he wrote, in response to this story, the crypto adoption news just keeps coming. I remember not too long ago, the crypto conversations centered around whether crypto could ever go mainstream. It's going mainstream as hell. Absolutely, no kidding, my friend. Somebody responded to him and wrote, somebody named Simon Adams wrote, I actually think this is the biggest step crypto has ever taken. Galgatron responded, really is incredible. My head is spinning with all the ramifications of this. I really thought it would be years before banks would get there. And Simon responded, me too. I was saying 2 weeks ago that Brian Brooks wanted to achieve goal before he is possibly removed after elections, but I wasn't expecting quite so bold a step. Galgatron wrote, where were you when we could no longer say, it's still early? Yeah, can we? I mean, this is a big step. Like, this is absolutely colossal. This is going to be fantastic for XRP and the entire space. And we're here early. Think about this. You listening to this, Mr. XRP holder, I assume you are because it's an XRP-centric channel. You're here before banks were even offering custody to the general public. Freaking nuts, right? I am thrilled that we got it. And think about it, we were able to do that in the crypto asset class still being over a decade old. We're just now getting to that point. Here's another tweet from a fellow XRP YouTuber, the Digital Asset Investor. 328 million Americans who will now be able to buy and hold XRP in their bank accounts. In just 100 billion XRP ever, bring it. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and heart that one. No kidding. That is, it's astonishing. It just is big news. Happy day, happy day. And, especially, we've had, like, the crappiest year on record, 2020. So, you know what? It's about time we get a little happy dance style news. We good, right? This was an interesting calculation, given, I just wanted to share this with you. Someone named John Kevin Moo. He calculated, and look, I understand, by the way, I should state also, I understand that it's only a little over half of my audience that's in the United States, so this might not be as interesting and relevant to you, but I've never seen this calculation this way, so I thought I'd share it. We already know that if you were to divide up the XRP evenly and each human on the planet were to get an equal portion of XRP, there would only be about 12 XRP per person. In the United States, if it all went to people in the United States, it would be about 333. I just never saw anybody calculate that, so I thought I'd share that. I know not as relevant if you're not in the United States, but I'm being quick with that. I'm moving on. All right. And now here's another tweet. So Michael Arrington, he was sharing this story. Michael Arrington of Arrington XRP Capital, by the way. And then Bitcoin XRP XLM, he's at XRP Jedi, jumped in and said, I said many years ago that if you want global adoption, the banks will also need to be allowed to play in the sandbox too. It was only ideological extremist maxi types that didn't want to accept it. The same people that coincidentally hate XRP2, banks in the game is good. Could not agree with that. We're going to heart that one too. Yeah, I absolutely firmly agree. Ripple, they've always been the adults in the room, and they understand that cryptocurrency and fiat currencies are going to coexist. Fiat currencies are not going away. Sovereign nations they're not going to allow for it. It's just not going to happen. Certainly not in my lifetime, anyway. And then there was this piece from Fortune. They pretty well. So what's their headline? I didn't like their headline though. Their headline was, banks can now hold Bitcoin, behind the OCC's big decision and why it matters. It's not just Bitcoin. I guess they use Bitcoin because it's the household name and they're not just catering to people in the world of crypto, but it's every cryptocurrency. That'd be like if I just said that this was a ruling only for XRP. That's not the case. Now, of course, with this being an XRP channel, I'm going to put XRP in the title because it's an XRP channel, but going to acknowledge that this is for all of crypto, most certainly here. But it's just the coolest freaking stuff here. You got a tweet here from Barry Silver. I've talked about him on the channel before. He's got his hands on everything crypto, and he tweeted out, I'm looking forward to getting my ass kissed by all the banks now. This is good stuff here. Oh, man, I can't remember. There's some parts in here I think I wanted to read, but I don't know if I can find them quickly because I don't want the video to go on too long here. I think this is maybe where I wanted to jump in. The news is significant because regulatory uncertainty has until now led major banks to avoid Bitcoin. Again, they should just say cryptocurrency, but whatever. Let's just go with it. What's more, the bylaws of many big investment funds, including pension funds, oblige them to park clients' money only with federally chartered banks. As the research group Coin Center notes, this amounts to a de facto ban on cryptocurrency. Think about this guy, and it's been lifted. Now, and then the piece continues. The upshot is that big banks now have a green light to open crypto operations. If they do, they will likely begin by focusing on custody services, which until now have been the purview of crypto-focused companies like Coinbase and BitGo. And so again, I want to stress this. One of the reasons this is such a big deal, it's going to make it easier to onboard individuals. It's going to make it more, and it's going to instill confidence. I mean, this is something where the federal government's like, yes, green light, go ahead. It's going to make it more likely for individuals to jump on board. And we already know, like, it's less than 1% of humans on the planet that are invested in crypto in general, right? That is true. It's less than 1%. And here we have this tremendous opportunity in front of us. What do you think the landscape is going to look like in the future? I'm telling you, especially as people want to diversify, as there's going to be continued strain on the dollar thanks to the U.S. government printing and debasing the dollar, what do you think is going to happen here? I mean, I'm not saying that the dollar's going to crash anytime soon. I'm just saying that what is happening in terms of actually printing up this much, it's not going to end well. So cool stuff on the planet. I guess I'll go ahead and wrap it up there. But the long-term ramifications of this are very positive. I'd love to hear from all of you in the comments. Please take a moment to say hello and what you think on this. But that's it. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, To the moon, Lambo!